It is no secret that we Indians love our utility vehicles, MPVs or MUVs as we call them. If it's got a lot of seats and lots of cargo space, it gets a lot of love, and Kia, as it turns out, knows this very well. Kia made its debut in the Indian market in 2018 and in the last 3 years has delivered successful product after successful product in the Seltos, the Sonnet and the Carnival, and this is its fourth product. Hello and welcome to DriveSpark. I'm Stephen Neal and this is the Kia Carens. It's got a lot of space, up to 7 seats and a bootload of features, and we're here to tell you all about it, so let's go. Before we get inside the car and check out all the features, let's take a look at the design, because this design is brand new for the Indian market and there's a lot of design features that stand out, starting from the front end and these LED DRLs. So they're inspired by the Constellation and they also double up as the indicators. So if you turn on the indicators, this turns into orange, otherwise it remains in this white LED form, and of course it looks really nice. It gives the front end an overall better appeal in terms of design and styling. And then there are several other design elements in this front end, especially in this front fascia that you see here, that relates to the headlamp and the LED DRLs and the grille. So let's start talking about them one by one. You've got this chrome strip that runs from one end to the other, and beneath the chrome strip you've got the 3 matrix LED headlamp. The outer 2 LED matrices form the low beam, while the inner one also comes in and together they form the high beam. So that takes care of the headlamp duties. And then you've got this unique grille. So Kia is calling it the knurled grille shape. Of course it doesn't let any air through, it doesn't perform any function as such, but it enhances the overall look of the car from up front. And then you've got Kia's new logo also on this car. Now that brings us to the X shape that this forms. When you look at it overall, when you look at it from the front end, you can see that it's forming this X shape up front, and that really enhances the look of the car. And then we come to Kia's signature tiger nose grille. So that is located on the lower half now in the bumper, and you've got the chrome outline for the tiger grille, and then you've got the honeycomb pattern inside it. And to either side of the grille you've got the ice cube fog lamps that has now become a Kia hallmark. Finally we come up to the bonnet. It's got an upright stance. It gives the overall vehicle an SUV-ish kind of look, and of course you've got the design lines on the bonnet and it curves up here above the logo, and this design line flows right to the back, and that brings us to the side profile. Let's check it out. When viewed from the side profile, there are several design elements that stand out on the Kia Carens. Starting from the front end, you've got the swept back headlamp that is seen on the side profile as well, and then you've got the flared wheel arches along with the black cladding on it, and then you've got the chrome door handles, and then you've got this roof rail on top that really stand out. And then you come to the pillars. So you've got the A, B and C pillars that are blacked out on this car. Even amongst the blacks there are different colors. So you've got the piano black finish on the A pillar, and then the rest are finished in a matte black. So that gives the car a unique look overall. And then of course on the bottom end you've got the cladding along with the silver strip on it, and then you come to the 16-inch wheels. These wheels are unique, they look really nice, and they are shod with MRF Wanderer eco-tread tires. So these tires, as we'll tell you later, are pretty decent. Yet another design element is this chrome strip that runs underneath the windows, and that gives the car a unique look. It gives it a more muscular look as well. Adding to the muscular looks is this shoulder line. So this shoulder line runs from the rear to the front end of the car. In between on the doors it disappears for a bit, however it continues straight throughout, and that gives it a more muscular, bulkier look than it actually has. Now moving to the rear end on the side profile, this is where the Kia Carens really starts to look like an SUV. Given the angle of the bumper and the angle of the roof, it really starts to look more bulkier, and this gives it a more SUV-ish profile. So you've got the tail lamps that are seen on the side profile as well, and then the spoiler adds on to it combined with the roof rails. So that pretty much sums up the side profile. There are a lot of design elements going on over here, lot of design and styling lines at work, and that might seem a little confusing at first until you stand and stare and look at these design lines. Then all of them start making sense to you. However, when you look at it from a distance, it does look a little confusing. So as I was saying earlier, the rear is where the Kia Carens really starts to look like an SUV, and you can't really blame them, can you? Look at it, it just looks perfectly muscular, just like an SUV should look. So let's talk about the design details on the rear. So firstly, you've got the Kia badging. The new Kia logo has been placed prominently and it's finished in a beautiful shade of aluminium, so it looks really nice. Whatever color you choose on this car, that logo is bound to stand out. And then of course you've got this entire tail lamp setup that will surely grab your attention. So it's a split tail lamp setup, and this is once again inspired by Constellation. So you've got these LED units in here, you've got this entire boomerang shaped LEDs over there, and well, it looks really nice. And then of course this entire thing is connected, and therefore it makes the Carens look a little bigger, a little wider. And then of course I should mention that there is no light in here, it just looks like a tail lamp, but it's not functional. The stop lamp is up there in the spoiler. The spoiler also is really thick and makes the car look more muscular. And then that brings us to the bottom end. You've got the auto badging here, which signifies the variant we're driving. We will be talking about automatic gearbox in just a bit, so stay tuned. And then you've got the Carens logo on the other side, and then you've got this Kia signature bumper on the lower end. So you've got the knurled element on the bumper, it's finished in chrome. It looks really nice, so it gives the overall MUV a better look. It makes it look so much more muscular. It reminds you of the older Kia Telluride in some angles, and well, it looks really nice. Thumbs up for the rear end. Now let's talk about what's inside the tailgate. So for that, you can choose to open the tailgate via a request sensor there, or you can choose to open it via the remote, which you'll have to long press and hold the button. Let's open up the boot. So there you go. I should mention at this point that this is not a powered tailgate. So yes, you've got the hydraulic struts here to help you lift it. You just have to pull it up and the struts will do the rest of the work. However, an electric tailgate would have been so much more better. Now, we do not know what this car would be priced at. At the time of shooting this review, prices have not yet been revealed. The car has not been launched. So at this price point, would it be perfect for it to have an electric tailgate or not is something that we will have to wait and watch. However, this is something that is really impressive. So as you can see, there is a lot of boot space, and with all 3 rows of seating up, this has a boot space of 267 liters, which is very good in fact. Now let's put down the 3rd row of seats and see what happens. So you've got levers here on the 3rd row, and you can just use them to fold it down, and it folds down flat, so you can have it in this configuration where it can seat so many people and also take in more luggage. If you want to fold down this seat too, you can do that as well. So you can pull down the lever, and there you have it. You've got a flat boot space. Now we do not know the exact measurement. We do know that it is pretty spacious. It looks wide and really accommodative. However, Kia has not mentioned any figures with relation to the space with the 3rd row and even the 2nd row folded down, and these figures will not be revealed until the launch date, so we do not know yet. However, it does look really spacious. Now it's time for us to get in. So now, as I mentioned earlier, it's time to get into the 3rd row, and it is pretty easy on this car. Let me just show you how. So you tug on the door, and well, that reveals the interior of the Kia Carens. And before we get into the interior and tell you what this interior is all about, let's talk about the 3rd row and how easy it is to get in and get out of. So you've got one touch tumble down on both sides, on both seats. You've got manual option on both seats. However, this seat, the left side, has the electric function as well. So there's a button over here on top of the seat. So you press the button and it folds down automatically, electrically, and it's that easy to get inside. There's a lot of space in here, and we're gonna get into the 3rd row. Now we are in the 3rd row, and immediately you would see that I'm in a pretty upright position, and that's because this is what the position is of the seat when you fold it back up from a flat bed. So now let me recline it to what I like, and there's a lever here on top of the seat, and you can recline it to this position, or if you want you can push it even further. Well, let me just bring it back to this position, and well, I'm pretty comfortable in here. As you can see, knee room is decent, and that is because this seat has been pushed back to its maximum. That's right, with it coming back to its maximum, I still have decent amount of knee room. I've got a little leg room, and well, in terms of headroom, I cannot complain at all. Now there's more adjustability in here, and that comes in the form of the headrest. So well, let me just adjust the headrest, and yep, I'm pretty comfortable in here, and I cannot see any problem with long journeys whatsoever. Now there are a few other convenience features for the passengers in the 3rd row, and that includes the Type-C output for your phone. so you can charge up your mobile phone while you're in here. Also, you've got a cup holder and you've got a tablet holder slash phone holder, so you've got a separate pocket for your phone. And if you're carrying a tablet around, well, you can place it longitudinally, and well, things are pretty comfortable in here. Now remember, these features are available not just for one passenger but for both the rear passengers, and well, that is something that a lot of other manufacturers could learn a lesson from. It is pretty comfortable in here. Finally, last but not the least, another feature that really boosts the comfort in here are these AC vents. So you can adjust them according to your preference. You can have it however you'd like. You can even adjust the airflow, whether you want it straight down or you want it spread out. Well, things are pretty cool in here. You've also got two lamps here for you to read anything if you're traveling at night. And that pretty much wraps up the features and convenience for passengers in the third row of the Kia Carens. So this is the second row of the Kia Carens, and well, this too is pretty comfortable. As you can see, we got captain seats in these because this is a top spec variant. However, there are other variants where you can choose to have a bench seat here, and that takes the seating up to 7. Now it's time to talk about the other features in the Kia Carens, especially in the second row. And well, let's start off with the upholstery. So in this variant, the top spec luxury plus trim, you get a dual tone interior. Of course, this one is a unique color combination. So you've got beige and navy, so it creates a unique color combination that we seldom see on cars. So you usually find black and beige or just black, but navy and beige is a unique combination and we do like it. Now it's time to talk about the seats. As you can see, they're captain seats. They're very comfortable. Each passenger gets their own armrest on either side. So over here I'm resting my arms on the door. On this side I get an armrest that can be folded as well, and well, things are pretty comfortable. So you've got perforations on the seat, that's for added ventilation. Of course, the seats have a unique pattern and that makes it look good. Also, they make it very comfortable over longer distances. Also, speaking of comfort, you can check out the knee room and headroom that I have. So I've got lots of space. Now keep in mind that the front seat, the driver's seat, is adjusted to my driving style, and for my requirement this is perfect. And despite that, I've got lots of knee room and lots of leg room as well. If I want to stretch, I can do so. And in terms of headroom also, as you can see, there's a lot of space. In fact, you can even adjust the headrest and that gives you more comfort. Well, things are going to be very easy in this car for long journeys. And another thing, finally, speaking about seats, so in case you want to free up a little more room for the passengers in the rear, you can slide your seat up front and still you can have a lot of room and free up more room for them as well. So things are pretty comfortable and spacious in here. Now let's talk about the other amenities that you will find over here. Firstly, you've got the AC vents on top. So each passenger gets their own AC vent, and you can regulate the airflow, you can adjust the airflow direction, etc. Now I should also mention that this car does not get a panoramic sunroof, and that is primarily because of these air vents. So with this car, Kia is concentrating more on practicality and usability than outright jazzy features like a panoramic sunroof, which might not be used all the time. Still, you do get a single pane sunroof, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. You also get your reading lamps on top, and you also get a few other features, especially let me talk about this one. So this is a smart air purifier. So you've got your controls for it on it here, and well, what it does is it takes in air from the bottom and purifies it and lets it out from both sides. Well, this is a pretty large unit. So Kia has always equipped its vehicles with air purifiers, especially given the times that we're living in. So it's a very important feature. However, this is pretty large, and what it does is it takes up a lot of space on the back of the front seat. However, you still do get your seat back pockets, although they are pretty small. Now other features, let me point you to this. So you've got a tray here. So this tray comes complete with a cup holder and space to keep your plate or your dish or whatever. If you're eating or if you're working, you can place your laptop or your tab on here, and this has a capacity of 3.5 kgs, so that's a pretty good feature as well. Very handy indeed. Also, you've got a phone holding net over here, so that's another pretty practical feature. It adds to the overall list of practical features that are already on this car. Now let me bring you to another one of them. So you've got this airflow regulator over here. So this knob controls the airflow to the rear passengers, both in the second row and the third row. So you get to choose from 4 speed settings, and well, that's another useful feature. 2 more useful features out here. So you've got 2 USB Type-C ports to charge up your smartphones, so passengers in the rear can have their phones charged up all the time, and below it you've got your phone holder or a cubby hole to store your other knickknacks, maybe your wallet, etc. Finally we come to the door panels. So these panels have got some storage space in them as well, so you can store 2 1-liter bottles in the door pockets along with some other knickknacks, maybe your wallet or your phone, etc. can be placed over there. Also there is some storage space in the door panel in the place where you use it as the door handle to pull it in, so you've got some storage over there. Of course it doesn't fit a proper phone, but if you've got a slimmer phone or an iPod or something like that, you can place it in there and it will hold it there safely and securely. Yet another design detail that enhances the overall experience for passengers at the rear is this surround for the door levers. You've got this brushed aluminum trim and that encloses a piano black finish inside. So you've got this piano black panel, and on this panel also there are some patterns that set it apart. So it's a very colorful overall interior, and the same color theme is followed at the front also, which we will go and check. But before we go to the front, I should mention that you get these sunshades, and they work brilliantly. They block out most of the light and while allowing you to look outside the window, so it's a pretty comfortable place to be in. And now finally we get to the driver's seat of the Kia Carens, and things are pretty good in here. It's very attractive indeed. So there are a lot of colors at play here, and there is something to keep you occupied at all times. And let's start off from top. So you've got this little control panel here, so you've got a sliding switch for the sunroof that you can operate from here, and it's a one-touch operation. So you slide it back and it opens up, and then slide it forward and it closes as well. So while the sunroof is electric, the sunroof cover or the blinds for the sunroof isn't. So well, you'll have to operate it manually. So if you want to pull it forward or backward, you'll have to do it manually. And then you've got the other switches for the reading lights. So those two are located right next to the sunroof switch, and underneath the switches you've got the sunglass holder, and well, underneath that you've got the rear view mirror. So this rear view mirror comes with 3 buttons on it. So you've got the SOS button, the roadside assistance button, and also Kia Connect. We'll talk about that in just a bit. That brings us to the dashboard and the cockpit. So now it's time to talk about the dashboard and the cockpit where the driver sits, and it's a pretty interesting place to be in. Lots of colors at play here, as I said earlier. So you've got the navy color on top of the dashboard, and then the bottom half is in beige. However, the center part is where all the colorful things happen. So you've got the piano black finish in the center that surrounds most of the controls and the instrumentation and infotainment system, and then you've also got the piano black finish for the AC control panel as well. However, there's also a brushed aluminum finish for the line that runs straight through the entire dashboard. Now this is very interesting indeed, because when you use the AC vents to adjust it, the front pane doesn't move. The front pane is stationary, so the line that is there on here is maintained throughout without being disturbed. It is the back of the pane that moves, and that is a pretty interesting feature. Now you've also got the hazard switch in between, and well, that line continues throughout the dashboard. You've also got the brushed aluminum strip that runs beneath all the controls that separates the beige part of the dashboard. So it's a pretty interesting layout. Taking center stage is a 10.25 inch touchscreen infotainment system. It's got a whole load of features. We'll get to that in just a bit. And then you've got the instrumentation. It's a full color digital screen. So this is 12.5 inches and it displays a lot of information. We'll get to that also in just a bit. Now let's talk about the driving space. So what does the driver have? So right in front of you, you find this beautiful steering wheel clad in leather. So you've got this navy leather on the steering wheel, and then you've got the Carens logo at the bottom. Now the bottom brings us to this part, that it is a flat bottom steering wheel, so it makes the entire thing look and feel a little more sporty as well. You got lots of buttons on the steering wheel that handle different vehicle functions. So towards the left side you've got controls for the media and infotainment and even for the voice control, and towards the right you've got various buttons to handle various vehicular functions like cruise control. You can even browse through the menus, you can even change a lot of settings on the instrumentation, etc. Voice command also is pretty interesting. So you press a button and give it your command. So for example, let's do this. I want to see the sky. So it's got intuitive commands. You don't have to directly tell it to open the sunroof. You can say I want to see the sky and it opens the sunroof for you. So it's a pretty cool feature. Now let's get to the remaining bit of the cockpit. So you've got the temperature controls, the entire climate control situated over here. So you can choose your temperature, you can use these brilliantly designed switches, of course finished in aluminium. It looks really nice, feels very premium in fact. And then you've got the other parts in the center console. So the center console is also very interesting. So we are driving the automatic variant, so we've got the automatic gear lever over here. It feels pretty good to hold, it's finished very well. And then you've got the other buttons in front of it. Now just ahead of the gear lever you've got the space to charge your mobile phone. It's got a wireless charger, and surrounding that space are a few buttons that change different modes on the vehicle. So you've got the drive mode button, you can access your hill descent and ascent control. You can even turn on or off the ventilation to the seats, so the passenger can control it from this side and the driver can control it from this side. And then you've got other features like park assist. You can turn on the parking camera even when the vehicle is not in reverse. So it's a lot of good features here. This is where you also have your USB port to connect your phone to the infotainment system. It's got wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so we'll check out that feature in just a bit. Also you've got a 12-volt charger socket, and you also got a USB Type-C to plug in your mobile phone and charge it. Another interesting feature is the cup holder. So you get cooled cup holders in the Kia Carens, and that is a pretty interesting feature. Usually you would expect to find a cooled glove box. In this though, you do not get a cooled glove box, you get cooled cup holders. So whatever you place in the cup holders here in the center console is going to be cool. Say you're carrying a tin or whatever, it will be cool. Now that brings us to this storage space under the armrest. So you open up the armrest and immediately you'll find a tray here that can be removed. Now this is perfect enough to fit your wallet in it. So it's a pretty cool feature. If you do not want it, if you do not have the use for it, you can just remove it, and that gives you access to a pretty deep space. Or you can use this space to carry your knickknacks or your regular stuff that you carry around usually. On the passenger side though, you get a cup holder that folds back into the dashboard, and that is a good feature as well. Kia has really gone into the details with the Carens. So you've got a space here to plug in your perfume bottle, so it goes straight in, and it's also ventilated, so the perfume gets the required air from the air conditioning. So that's another very thoughtful feature indeed. Finally we come down to the door panels. So the door panels have an interesting design. So you've got the same pattern that I told you about in the rear doors. So you've got the brushed aluminum trim along with the piano black finish panel on this. Now this in the front end makes more sense because it continues straight into the dashboard, and that line continues throughout the dashboard and connects both sides door panels. So it's a pretty cool feature. And then you've got the usual color patterns at play here. So you've got the navy and the beige colors at play, and then you've got your storage space underneath your driver's armrest for whatever small knickknacks you're carrying. Say you're carrying your earphones or something, you can place it there. And then that brings us to the door pockets, which are pretty deep. You can store 2 1-liter water bottles, and also you can store along with it a cup or your wallet or any knickknacks you're carrying around. There is also an umbrella holder in the front door pockets along with a drain hole at the bottom, so you can place your wet umbrella into it and the water will drain out. So it's a pretty cool feature. Now at this point I should mention that the seats up front are ventilated, are cooled. However, they do not have a power adjusting button. Even the driver's seat does not get power adjusting seats, so you will have to adjust the seat manually. You can adjust it for height, recline and reach, but you'll have to do it manually. You cannot do it electrically. And finally that brings us to the infotainment system. So this is the party piece, this is the highlight on the interior. So it's a 10.25 inch screen, as I told you earlier. You've got lots of features on here. You've got maps, navigation, you can connect your phone to it and use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You can access various forms of media through the USB port or by plugging in your phone. There are also some interesting features in here. So you go into the media and you play sounds of nature. So you've got various sounds in here like calm sea waves, you've got heavy rainfall, etc. And that's pretty cool as well. Now that really brings out the sound from this Bose audio system. So it's an 8-speaker audio system like I told you earlier. You've got speakers all over the car. You've got one speaker in the dashboard, one in the boot, 2 each in the front doors and 1 each in the rear doors. So that sums up the overall sound system. It sounds really nice. Another interesting feature is the quiet mode. So when you activate the quiet mode, the music is played only on the front speakers, the rear speakers are deactivated. So this helps in case the rear passengers are sleeping. Now that we've taken a look at the features and the interior of the Kia Carens, now it's time to go for a drive and check out what this powertrain is all about. So let's go driving. So we're behind the wheel of the Kia Carens, and well, first things first, I'm pretty comfortable and so is the car. So let me run you through this mode that we're driving in. So we are in drive mode because we're driving an automatic car, and well, we are in eco mode, which simply means that the car is just cruising along, wafting along, and I'm in the air conditioning, relaxing. Well, this is exactly how most of the owners of this car, most of the buyers of this car will be driving this, will be using it. And so it is very important to check out this aspect of the car, whether it will be able to keep you comfortable. The answer to that is yes. There are several features in here that are keeping you comfortable, as I explained earlier. So I've got ventilated seats, the ventilated seats are turned on, I'm getting cool air all around, and well, things are good. And that brings us to the suspension. You see, the suspension is set up at a perfect balance. It's not very hard, neither is it very soft. So it's got that right balance, and that gives a comfortable ride to all its occupants, not just here. Earlier I was trying out the second row and the third row as well, and the comfort back there also is pretty good. The ride is not harsh, and well, you don't really feel a lot of undulations except if you're at really high speeds. Now in triple digit speeds, that all changes. So when you get to higher speeds, you feel every undulation, and potholes, well, you do get a huge thud. Apart from that, you do not feel uncomfortable in this car at all. Now it's time to talk about the engine and gearbox, and the powertrain is lifted directly from the Kia Seltos, which is a much smaller vehicle. However, in here also, we'll talk about how it feels. Let me run you through the specifications first. So you've got 3 engine options, and each of them come with their own set of gearbox options. So the most powerful engine option is a turbo petrol unit. It's a 1.4 liter engine, and it puts out around 137 bhp and 242 Nm. The next engine option is a naturally aspirated petrol engine, again a 4-cylinder. This one pushes out 113 bhp and 144 Nm. And then comes this diesel engine, and this is the one we are driving. It's a 1.5 liter turbo diesel engine, and this one pushes out 113 bhp and 250 Nm. So in terms of torque, this one is the highest. In terms of power though, it could do with a little more power, because well, this is what happens when you put your foot down. It does take a little time to get up to speed until it gets into that power band, that is, and then it shifts gear at a later stage. Now I should also mention the gearbox options at this stage. So you get a 6-speed manual gearbox with this engine. Also you can have it in a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and this what we're driving is a 6-speed automatic, and thanks to that automatic we also have access to the drive modes that this car comes with. So you've got eco, normal and sport. So well, these drive modes do exactly as they say, as the name is. So in eco mode, which we are in right now, once you get up to speed and you get off the throttle, as you can see right now, the engine is coasting, the vehicle is coasting, the engine is at idle, so it's not even being used, the vehicle is just wafting along. And when you prod on the throttle, it comes back to life, and that is how the eco mode works. It basically saves fuel, it tries its best to keep the engine in a higher gear at all times, etc. So that is eco mode. And then let's shift to normal mode. Now normal mode, you see the instrument cluster changes from a shade of green to a purple-ish backlight, and well, this one is good for highway cruising. It acts normally, it behaves normally, it's not trying to save as much fuel, and neither is it trying to be as sporty as sport mode. Now let's get to sport mode, and we are in sport mode right now, and immediately at the same throttle position the gearbox drops a gear, and well, it's in a lower gear now, and the instrument cluster is glowing in red. And now let's get to the party piece, sport mode, and this is where you get all the control. You've got paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, and you can shift gears using the paddle shifter. So you can keep it in a gear for as long as you'd want to, and then shift gear. or if you want to drop a gear, you can do so using the paddle shifter as well. Gear shifting is done at a rapid pace. Of course, it's not as fast or quick as a DSG would be, but it's at decent pace. Apart from the gear shifting, a few other changes happen in sport mode. The throttle response is bumped up and the engine holds on to gears for a longer time. It's a pretty interesting car to drive, especially in sports mode, because what you have here is a family car that comfortably seats its occupants, either 6 or 7, but then you're driving it in sports mode and you're shifting gears using a paddle shifter. So it's probably the best of two worlds, or a little bit of both. Another thing I should mention is the steering feel. Now this is a pretty sporty steering. It's pretty chunky, good to hold, so you feel like driving it in a sporty way, but the steering characteristic changes according to the mode you're driving it in. So if you're in eco mode, for example, the steering is very light, because eco mode is more designed towards city and maneuverability, so you can use eco mode while you're in the urban jungle. However, if you want a little more feedback from the steering wheel, you would go to the normal mode. So on highways it weighs up nicely. However, it's not as heavy as sport mode, because sport mode is what you would go to if you want, a properly weighted steering wheel for proper handling. This kind of steering actually belongs in a proper sedan, which is low down to the ground and you're pushing the car in corners. However, in this one you do get a bit of body roll. That's the only difference. That cannot really be blamed on the car. That's an inherent trait that has been received because of the height of the vehicle. Now when it comes to the brakes, if you want to slow down pretty quick, these brakes are decent. Of course, you do not get the immediate bite that you would want, especially at higher speeds, but then that's a good thing if you're in an MUV full of people, so you do not really want that initial powerful bite as you would want as a driver. As an enthusiast, you would want that initial bite, but if you are having a vehicle full of people, you wouldn't really want it, because the people in the back can get injured because of the sudden braking. So the initial bite is missing, but the progression is great. It brakes from speeds pretty quick. Finally, getting to the safety features, well, this car has quite a lot of them. So you get 6 airbags as standard across all variants, so safety is being taken pretty seriously, and well, the occupants are going to be well protected in case of an impact. There are a few other active and passive safety features, and that includes tire pressure monitoring system. You've got ABS with EBD, you've got brake force distribution, you've got brake assist, you've got electronic traction control. You also got vehicle stability management, you've got hill descent control, hill ascent control, so it's packed to the brim with safety features. The vehicle is watching over you as you're driving, so that's a good thing. Finally, we come down to the NVH levels, and well, NVH levels definitely could have been better, especially at higher RPMs, so the engine noise does filter into the cabin. Of course, this is a diesel engine and this will be much quieter if you're driving the petrol powered models. Also, if in case you're driving at higher revs and you do not want much of the engine noise coming in, well, you can simply turn on the brilliant music system. The Bose speakers will take care of that. So that was our take on the Kia Carens. Well, it's a brilliant car to drive, and also it's a brilliant car to be seated in, and this is worth your money. Well, it depends on how much it costs. That we'll get to know only when it's launched. Until then, this is a good car. The Kia Carens is a vehicle that is packed with features, as you all just saw. Also, there's one thing common about all the features on this car, and that is the fact that it is practical and usable on an everyday basis. In this vehicle, there are no features that you would not be using and is just mentioned on paper for the Jazz. And that is what we liked about this vehicle. Do let us know in the comments what you thought about the Kia Carens, and well, if you have any doubts or any queries about this new vehicle, let us know as well, and we will make sure to answer them for you. That's it from us for now. Thank you for watching. Do stay tuned to DriveSpark. I'm Stephen Neal signing off. Stay safe and drive safe.